I'm Tandy Gutierrez, and I'm the co-founder of mattandkitchen.com. I invited a couple of very special friends and members of Matt and Kitchen to chat with me today. So it's the M&K chat session. I am 37 years old. I'm a mother of two young boys, about to turn 9 and about to turn 5. I'm stepmom to a third son who's 20 and a happy wife. So we are most days, right? So I invited my friends to come and chat because Matt and Kitchen, people see it and they go, neat, fitness, online fitness. But it really is more than that. It's got a really wonderful, supportive, and loving community of really interesting people, and I thought it would be nice to meet some of those people and let them share their Matt and Kitchen experience with you all so you can understand it better. Okay? So, to my right is Carrie. Carrie, if you'll introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Carrie Scheid. I'm 38 years old and I've been on the mat for about 2 years. I don't have any children. I am married and really happy to talk about my experiences.
Hey, thanks.
Yeah.
Okay. And to my left is Cynthia.
Hi, I'm Cynthia Kelly and I'm in my 60s. I am an empty nester, obviously, married, and I've been on the mat with M&K for 3 years now.
So 2 and 3 years, which is awesome, and again why I asked them to come chat with us today, because M&K is only 3 years old. And it's really interesting because as people come to Matt and Kitchen, they come because it's fitness and it's a great workout and it's really accessible and the price point's fantastic and the quality of training is really good. But they stick around long term, which somebody coming from the fitness industry, myself, for the last 15 years, that's not always very common. So that was even quite a surprise to me, the longevity and the consistency and the loyalty of Matt and Kitchen members. Carrie, will you share with us like how you found out about Matt and Kitchen, because it's not super well known, you know, and how you found it?
Yeah. Well, interestingly, I found it through my chiropractor, who I was going to probably because of injuries that I had sustained doing years of pretty vigorous exercise and getting repeatedly injured. And so I was seeing a chiropractor who happens to be part of the M&K community, and so she told me about it. And I was at that time somebody who was always interested in like the new fitness thing. I was up for anything. I had at some point had tried just about kind of every fitness trend out there, and so I was game. And the timing of M&K was really good in my life because it sort of has been with me now through this 2-year period where my relationship with fitness has really changed, and it's been a big part of that. And I think I've kind of landed at least for now, where I'm really comfortable and really want to be, and where I don't have so many injuries, which is nice. So I don't see that chiropractor as much anymore, but I am on the mat a lot.
Yeah. That's great. Yeah, very cool. And Cynthia, how did you come to Matt and Kitchen?
As you know, you were my next door neighbor, and honestly, originally I felt like, oh, I just have to do this for Tandy, but I knew you to be a fabulous and amazing trainer. I thought, okay, well, I'll give this a shot. And certainly affordable and accessible, fits into any schedule. So I signed up, and here I am all these years later. I have nothing but good to say about it. You always address issues and answer questions. It's just a great accessible program for anyone, whether you have a family at home or whether you have a little bit of extra free time that you can devote to it. It is such a community. There's just everyone is out there, and there's always someone that you're just always accessible for answering questions or addressing issues. My issues are sometimes different from other people's, but it's.
Well, everybody
I think it's great.
Does have different issues with it, and again, perfect people to bring in to introduce M&K to other people, because there is such a span of lifestyles, span of age group, and what I hear over and over and over again is that I didn't really think I was going to like it, but such and such told me I had to check it out, and that I thought it was going to be too sleepy or too zen or too yogi or too Pilates, too something. And friends who just humored me in the beginning and wanted to be supportive, that were like, yeah, I'm going to see what she's doing. That's totally cool. I can always take a class. Really have stuck around because it went past that friendship point to filling some sort of need.
For me, and I think for probably many, many other people, it truly is like being in the room with you and having you right there one-on-one. I sometimes talk to you, right?
Or
and I'm like, oh wait, or like, I'm not doing that. But other times, you know, I can really embrace it, and I really do feel like I'm getting a one-on-one training that I used to be so envious of when you lived next door. I'm like, I wish I could spend, you know, one-on-one with Tandy and work out all the time. Well, now I can.
Yeah.
You know.
And that was a surprise even to me when we created it, because I had taught in a studio for the last 15 years and done Pilates for the last 20 years, that I thought, we're going to launch this thing, and is it going to change a body? Are people really going to attach to it? Is it going to make any sense whatsoever? And the crazy thing is that it was almost better, because the transition in bodies was actually more substantial in the amount of people's lives that we have physically, functionally changed. Because of the accessibility, because people could be really consistent with the price point. Like, most people, I'll be really honest, couldn't afford to take a private session with me. And when I lived in LA and New York, I couldn't afford to take a session with the trainers that I loved. So it was like, this is ridiculous. And so then it started, you know, being like the Pilates for the people. Well, yes, because it should be accessible, and we do have the fabulous interwebs, right? And it makes it easier, but that doesn't mean the quality has to change or that it has to be this canned group experience.
And it's not like that at all. I never feel that. I never feel like and I've, you know, experimented with some other online, you know, fitness things, whether they're yoga or, you know, different. And it's just like, you know, it's not very personal.
No.
At least I haven't found another one that makes me feel like, oh, this person's like right there, and they're addressing my issues as we go along.
That's great. That's totally the point. So, Carrie, like, I guess, you know, you talked about that you came to it from injuries, and that it's like now you don't go back to the chiropractor because the injuries aren't there. So it works for you because why does it work for you, or what need does it fill now past that injury point?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many ways to answer that question. I mean, I was a dancer as a kid, and up until sort of college, and then I would say in my mid-20s, I got into it was really the first time that as an adult, that I had integrated exercise regularly into my life. And it, you know, I'll be honest, it started out, I think, as a very unhealthy thing. I think it was rooted in a sort of self-punishing activity where
fitness in general,
like I wanted to change my body, I wanted to look a certain way, and I kind of developed, even though it became a very healthy habit that I kept for over a decade, this regular exercise, which was really good for me and good for my body and good for my self-esteem, it was kind of rooted in you know, it's a strong word, but a type of self-loathing. It was a little bit too rough on myself, a little too punishing. It was a little too wrapped in ego, quite honestly. And so, like I said, I tried everything, and I kind of, you know, excelled at boxing for a while. I excelled at like the boot camp thing for a while, and kickboxing. I mean, I pretty much tried everything there was out there, and it was really fun. And important in my life, and I kind of built my self-esteem on that, and so there were a lot of good things that came out of it. But after a while, I think I stopped enjoying exercise as much as I had in the past, and I got bored with things, and like I said, I kept getting injured, even with things that people don't associate with injury. Like, I got more injured doing yoga than any other thing.
That's a whole nother video chat.
I mean, I've heard other people say that. And you know, I think what happened when I started making a M&K a part of my regular routine. I actually haven't been to the gym in probably a year and a half. And it's a good thing. I mean, I still do other forms of exercise, but it's really just to kind of supplement what is my primary form of wellness and fitness now, which is M&K. And it's because it is, to me, it's like mindfulness to the body. That's what I think of it as. It is so grounding. It is, I can't believe, I mean, I used to think that exercise wasn't worth it if it wasn't like at least an hour long and you were like dying by the end of your workout. I mean, like just like going crazy on yourself by the end. And I thought that's sort of what you needed to do to get the kind of results that I wanted. And that is absolutely not the case with this. And I am astounded that when I am regular, and by regular, like maybe 3 to 5 times a week with M&K, I cannot believe how much I see and feel the results in my body. And it really grounds me and calms me in the way that like maybe meditation does for my mind. So it really does feel like that mindfulness for the body kind of result.
Yeah, I mean, it's totally cool to hear it, because when, I teach, but again, coming from the fitness industry and a background in dance, where you get this very it's self-deprecating.
Yeah.
And so you're doing all these things for health and for wellness, yet you end up chronically injured if it's not really painful, or you get to this point of, I'm being honest, like wanting to vomit.
Yeah.
Like boot camp mentality. And I'm not saying that those workouts don't work,
right,
or there's not a reason to do it. Like all movement is awesome.
Yep.
And I love everything. Like you will see me, I'm an active yogi. Like I love to go, sometimes I do run and sometimes I am jumping on the trampoline. But the moment I really claimed my workouts 30 minutes a piece consistently, my whole health and body shifted as well. And being in the fitness industry, part of me is calling bullshit, in a way of like, I'm closer to 40, but having an entire lifetime of body awareness, of pictures being taken, being in front of people, that the images we're so used to seeing is just functionally, number one, it's not realistic, but not in the way you think, because you can look like that, you can do those things, but a lot of times the bodies are like literally actually dehydrated before they get to those photographs. Then you've got airbrushing and retouching, and then you've also got people who've had a lot of surgical work. Again, zero judgment if that's what works for you, but these are not naturally occurring bodies.
Right.
And so as I had 2 kids and saw me be better as a body physically, emotionally, and mentally, because I cut down my workouts to that 30-minute time frame, it is shocking to people, and they don't trust me initially, because they go, that's baloney. I have to go sweat, I have to hurt myself, I have to dread it, and it's got to be at least an hour for this to make any difference. And I would pull clients off, and they would be like, this is really sneaky. Like but everything's changing, but it's all better. But it's just kind of shrink wrapped, and it's kind of tighter, and what's happening? And it's like, you just have to trust me, which is like the worst phrase on the planet, right? So, Cynthia, for you, like what, or has M&K changed any point of perspective on fitness or wellness?
Oh, absolutely.
Well,
in that trust you vein, I came from decades of an intense yoga workout that I was very, very wrapped up in, but I found that as I kind of mellowed with age and I wanted to ease off, the culture of the practice that I had didn't embrace that. And it was difficult for me, because it was very much a part of my life, and honestly, there are days when I'm like, wow, I really kind of miss that. And then I think about it, and then I'm like, no, I really don't. So initially, I had to trust you that I could have positive results without investing so much of that over physicality to it, where I just had to just push and push and push and push. And not that with an M&K workout and your coaching, we don't push and we don't go, up a level and up a level and up a level. Still, it's not that push yourself until you're done.
Until
And
you
then
break.
that's still not enough.
Right.
Which was very much the culture that I came from. And I just grew out of that culture and hadn't quite found another home when M&K, came into existence, and it was a good fit for me. And sure, I'd love to go off to a yoga class here and now, I have a totally different attitude. Yeah, I'll do this or I won't do it, or, not that I'm not going to fully engage in it, but that I don't feel that I have to be that person that's just...
Well, you get to
do
make
everything.
choices now, and you get to be empowered with those choices for your fitness too. And
Exactly.
I think that fascinating piece of this is that we have women who are really intelligent, very empowered in their day-to-day lives, and then you get them in a fitness environment and everything falls apart. And so my goal when I first started teaching was that I just wanted to say nice things to people, honestly, because the world is pushing all these ugly things at you, and I would get people on that and be like, it really is just fitness. Like, you can lighten up about it. That doesn't mean you don't take it seriously or that you don't respect it, but there's this weird balance of, how do you empower yourself without breaking yourself? And that I look at the mat as being home base. That if this is all you want to do for your fitness, that's incredible. Like, great, that's wonderful, and that is all you need. But if you like to go do other things, or you like to go explore other movement, go do it. Like, we have a physical body. It is a beautiful thing that we should, take care of and play with and use, but that you always know where to come home. So that by being on the mat with this consistent, learning self-respect and learning the balance of a body, that you don't get injured, there's no breaking, there's no deprivation, and that movement and fitness becomes very empowering rather than feeling like not enoughness, like I'm never gonna look like that, I'm not gonna be able to do this position or pose, then it's worthless to even try because I'm not gonna be this. And I even personally go, some poses aren't for everybody. Some exercises aren't for everybody. And that's okay. The goal is for each of us to strive for better and to find our better and to make progress continually, but not push for perfection, because it doesn't exist anymore.
Well, I find that M&K, and your guidance, which is M&K, I find it to be very nurturing, and I find that it embraces, even when it's just me there, I find that it embraces other people. I can hear in my mind, I'm like, okay, this person and this person and this challenge, those people are being included, and they're being nurtured, and they're being given what they need at the same time that I'm receiving what I need. And that's very, very special. Mm-hmm. It's just such a warm feeling, and it does give you that kind of extra, okay, I can put a little extra effort in this without injuring myself or without just killing myself. I also find that just your format and the 30-minute workouts, it gives me extra time to do all kinds of cool things that I really like to do. Then I can go to lunch with my friends,
No, but this
or for a walk in the park, or just take a little time for myself.
But this is hugely important because the shtick has been I'm the fitness guru. That doesn't mean you have to be. This is the path and the pattern that I've chosen, and apparently this is what I'm good at. Is teaching. I didn't expect that, by the way, but I love it, and I love to teach, and I love to live more towards ideal, right? But the idea is not that everybody has to be at that level. That's a choice, and that but you do need to be respectful for your body, and we all want to be healthier, and that the 30 minutes allows you to go live your life, not all consuming with fitness.
Well, and the thing I'm learning, in the respectful of your body, is that it's going to last a really long time, so you need to take care
Right?
of it.
So, everybody goes, well, and health and fitness and wellness is all the thing right now. And it's like, oh, what are you doing? And everybody goes, well, I can't eat all organic, and I can't have smoothie every day, and I'm not going to work out 2 hours a day. That's not realistic.
Right.
And I get that. It's not. But there are huge strides and improvements and benefit to be made by keeping it calm and thoughtful at 30 minutes at a go. So I love that came full circle, because that really is the point for me of what I hope to teach and impart, of that it can be much better, it can be very improved, but it doesn't need to take over your entire life. Like, let me be your teacher, trust me, again, the worst phrase on the planet.
But it applies.
But it does apply, and I've always said that it's a leap of faith, especially for Pilates, that you kind of have to suspend disbelief and judgment for at least 3 months, which I know sounds long, because it won't really make sense in our typical understanding of fitness until after that 3-month mark. Like, you really do have to do it and kind of get it in your body, and then the light bulb goes off and you go, oh, well, this is amazing, and it's really kind of sneaky. And like, we tease about it being like the ninja fitness, because it's like totally quiet and stealthy, and then all of a sudden things are different.
Yeah. I thought that because I have a little bit of a background in dance, and because I've been working out and doing so many different kinds of exercise for so long, I mean, I've always had a pretty good awareness of my body and having proper form, and I kind of thought I knew all that already, and I'm amazed. Like, even now, having done this for a couple of years, I still have those light bulbs go off where it's like I've gotten even deeper, or like, oh, that's the way I should position myself to do this thing that like is really engaging, a different part of my body in this whole new way. And it's really fun that it keeps getting sort of more rewarding the better I get at it. And that's just like a happy benefit. I will also say that when it comes to this whole trust you thing, like, I just do, and I think people who have done a lot of kind of group exercise, or of even the online things, like, there's always an instructor, right? There's always somebody leading the form of exercise, or somebody who's guiding you. And there's a big range out there.
Yes, there is.
In method or approach or skill at, even people who are really, really know what they're doing, they don't necessarily know how to teach that or explain it or make it make sense to somebody else. And I really value the way that you are able to describe the same thing. There may be one sort of movement that you do repeatedly in different sessions, and you'll describe it differently kind of every time I do it, and that really works for me. I'm a very kind of visual and tactile learner, and so the way you describe things, like holding a clutch under your arm, it's like, that makes sense to me.
Of course.
So helpful.
Putting on your skinny jeans, like, okay, I get what that means.
Yeah.
That's really
Again,
helpful.
and keeping it real without it being too goosey. Because even I will go take classes, and I go, I don't know what they're asking me to do. Like, and then I go, wait a minute, but I teach this for like most of my adult life. How can I not understand what they're saying? Because I feel like the reason that I teach that way is because I'm the kind of student that for a really long time did not understand what people were cueing me to do. So I really only cued so that it made sense to me.
Yeah.
But then found that it makes sense to a lot of people in a way that doesn't typically connect, which is awesome. Well, I just wanted to say thank you to both of you for being a part of this today. Because even as I invited you, I didn't know what would happen. But the goal was to share it and what it's like from the inside out, and just give more perspective of who's really doing mat and kitchen, and who are you swimming on the mat with, and who am I talking to when I'm teaching. It is really real and genuine. I mean, we're in what used to be our living room, and that's where we shoot from, and this is where the workouts happen. So it really is homegrown. You are really training with me. It really is my husband and I that run this business, and it's still, as one of my other friends said, a mom and pop Pilates shop. Like, we just try to make it accessible in the way that we knew, which was video and technology and online, which is super cool. But that doesn't mean it's any less personal or any less real in the results that it creates or the connection that you have with people. So thank you for getting on the mat with me today.
Yes.
And we'll have more chats later on.